Thanks for joining us once again as we bring you the latest in the city of New Hope, joined by the Mayor, Kathi Hemken, to bring you up to date. Welcome, Mayor. How are you this week?
Hey, what a gorgeous day it is today.
It is fantastic. Looks like a great week and maybe summer coming soon. And we have some activities you might want to get in on now that the outside is looking great. Let's talk about one that is involved right now that's more of an inside activity, and that's elections. Mayor, tell us about this election season, what we can anticipate coming up, and what's happened so far.
Well, filing has closed, so we've got two people running for mayor and three people running for the two council seats. Therefore, there won't be a primary. Now, they can look in their In Touch that gets mailed to everybody's mailbox, and there's a little piece on the front page that'll tell you all you need to know about voting and how to register and just everything you need to know.
Yep, here's that little paper that came in the mail to all of the households. So make sure you get that, and also to all the addresses right in the city of New Hope. So a lot of information there. Let's head to community development. Always a lot happening in this area. First, we want to talk about that conversion we normally keep an eye on. What is the latest on the single family to rental conversion?
Well, they keep going back and forth, but basically it's a wash at the end of the year. So we did have one single family going to rental, but we had a bunch of rentals going back to single family. So I think what happens is people go south for the winter, they rent their houses out, they come back in the summer up here, and then it goes back to single family owned. So lots going on back and forth with that.
Community development also involved in the Rave Awards, and this picture you're seeing is of some of the winners this past year and one of the little fine rocks that you get if you are a winner. Again, Mayor, remind us about this great contest in the city of New Hope and how it works.
First of all, those little fine rocks are heavy.
Yes, it looks like it.
And I have to hold it till they can take it from me. But so that's a program where we want people to recognize when they've put either some additions to the outside of their houses to make it look good from the curb or the inside. They call it the Rave Award, and they have until the 26th of July to actually nominate themselves or someone else. So get those nominations in. We'll have some judges come out and look at the houses and determine the award winners.
Let's talk about a business in the city that people are well aware of that has been there for quite some time. That's St. Therese. Some news about St. Therese that has recently come out.
Well, they have. St. Therese has sold to another company, and they're going to change the name to Woodlake Residence and Woodlake Care Center, and that'll happen about August 1st. They tell me there won't be any changes to the buildings themselves or to the residents having to leave or anything like that. It's just a change in ownership of that. More to come on that as we get more information.
We had talked recently about some meetings that were going on related to some text amendments, all sorts of things that were being covered here. And now we have another step in that process. What has happened? And again, what are the variety of things that you were looking at?
Well, occasionally our codes and standards group, which is with the Planning Commission, will look at our texts, the ordinance that we have, and to make some changes when they make sense to do that. I'm going to have to look at this because there's so many of them. So the outdoor storage, they're allowed to have 3 utility or cargo trailers that are used if they have a conditional use permit to have them, and they can be stored outside. The definition of fence. So a fence is something, we had something in there that said the fence had to be at least 5% open, meaning like a board on board twisting. Well, a lot of these fences now are just a straight board. And so we took out that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was trade schools, the definition of trade schools. So trade schools can be in the industrial district, but they have to be for students that are past secondary school. So no middle school, no secondary students there. They have to be post-secondary. So that's just a change in that. The parking lots specify the permits and maintenance requires for the parking lots. The in-home daycares have to be registered at a home-based business and meeting those requirements, excluding the gross floor area restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Boarded up buildings, they can only be boarded up for 60 days unless they have an active permit for a building, that they're building something. You can't just board up your building and leave it there. Mm-hmm. And then the airport, the Crystal Airport, we had to change our ordinance to match the zoning of the Crystal Airport. Really, it wasn't much of a change for us on that one, just that we comply to what the zoning group said.
All
So
right.
that's all I have on that.
Yeah, a lot of activity there. And again, if you need more information, newhopemn.gov, the city's website, a great place to go. And you can certainly talk to community development to get more details on some of those items. Scatter site housing, it's that time of the year where this is a very, very busy area as well. Let's start with 3611 Louisiana. We are about done there.
We are about done there. I think everything's completed and we shall see somebody moving in shortly.
Up to the corner of 42nd and Boone, a few houses there that have been underway. We've been keeping you up to date on those. What is the latest on that corner?
Well, the south one, the one closest to 42nd, that one needs some grading and the installation of the irrigation sod, the trees. And the north one is just about ready. The outside's done. They're now moving inside to do some of the inside stuff.
Next, let's move to a few houses that are being added to the list now. The first is 4220 Nevada. Tell us about that property.
We purchased that. They're going to close on that in July sometime. That one, the West Metro might do some training in that. I don't know about an active burn, but they'll go in and do some training in the house. So, anytime you see a house like that that's got a bunch of police cars or a bunch of fire trucks there, it's because they're doing some training there, not because there's a problem with the house. However, if you see cars that don't belong there, call the city and report that.
5421 Virginia Avenue. Again, another house that's coming on the list soon.
We bought that. We're going to close on that one in July.
All right, so a lot of new activity coming to a couple others that are in the works. 5692 Boone Place. Exterior work finishing up. Now to the inside we go.
Well, it always looks like the house is done,
Right.
but it's not. There's all that inside stuff. So they're inside doing that stuff. In the meantime, they'll do some outside grading and try to get the lawn and the trees and all that stuff planted on the outside. So that one's in progress.
All right, and a couple of final properties here that are earlier in that process. They are in the foundation stage. This is up on 50th Avenue.
So the interior lot, we're calling it, it's a 7911. That one, they've laid the blocks, they poured the cement last week. So now the walls will start going up. So that seems to happen real quick when the walls go up and the roof goes on. But then again, they'll move inside and start. I think they're going to complete that house before they start on the other one. Not really sure about that, but that sounds like what they're probably going to do with that one.
All right, we still have another that's being added to the list. This is 8024 50th Avenue. Tell us about this property.
Well, we bought that one too, and we're going to close on that in July. So lots going on. I want to tell people the houses that we're buying are usually distressed. The people that have lived there, either they're older or they have died, or for some reason the house isn't being kept up. So we're taking those and tearing them down and selling that land to a developer. Somebody said, well, you're taking away low-income housing. Well, the housing we're taking down really isn't suitable at all. I mean, it's really in decline. And what's happening is people from New Hope are moving out of their lower priced homes into these bigger homes. So we're making more low-income housing available to people by building these bigger houses. It just seems kind of a long way around it, but we're upgrading the housing stock.
Final note we want to make in this area is there was one house that was finished and part of this program a few years ago, and you've got a little update on that property.
Well, this one is on 62nd. It originally sold for $296 in 2016. It's on the market for $450. So the prices are just going crazy. Those people that bought these houses early are really doing well with them.
Couple final community development notes to pass along here. First is the Business Networking Group. They are getting ready to meet in July. Give us some information about that next meeting.
Well, that's July 3rd. That one will be at 2 o'clock, and it's being hosted by Principal Living, and the address is 9405 36th Avenue. So that's where the meeting will be held. It's Crystal and New Hope. Everybody's welcome, and it's free. It's a really good way to network and find out what's going on in the community.
Final note is some building permit and inspection numbers. These are some big numbers, so get ready for this. Mayor, what have we seen recently?
This is unbelievable to me. In May, just in the month of May, we issued $4 million worth of building permits. 3 million of that was actually building. The rest were just permits to have some work done inside. But $4 million, that's a lot to our economy. We also did 654 inspections. Those are mostly building inspections and code enforcement. So these guys have been really, really busy.
Busy department there. Another busy department is the police department, not only with their daily duties, but also lots of meetings and other activities. Give us a little list of some of the meetings and activities police has been involved with.
Well, I always talk about the police wanting to be in the community, involved in the community. So once again, they're delivering Meals on Wheels.
Mhm.
They have a crime-free multi-housing meeting that they've gone to. Chief Hoyt and some of our officers will be assisting Minneapolis because of the shooting of one of the police officers in Minneapolis. They'll be assisting Minneapolis so that those officers in Minneapolis can go to the funeral on Tuesday.
Let's now head to Public Works. A lot happening here. Mayor, we've got a long list to touch on here that in the end includes some little furry guys. What has this department been up to and how are they saving little furry things?
These guys are just multi-talented. In the process of putting up a new building and trying to move stuff into the building and doing all that, they are, and I'm going to read this, they're patching asphalt where they've had water main breaks. They're doing some landscape restoration. They're doing some parking lot striping. And the fun one, they retrieved a duckling from the drain and they returned it to its mom. And I think you have a picture of that. They're also doing some water main shutoffs on Hillsborough. And because of all the rain, they've had to clean out the catch basins with all the debris that flows down the street. Keep in mind that everything you throw out your window ends up in the water. It goes down the drain. So we have to clean it out. So please don't throw stuff out your window. It just doesn't work that way.
All right, that is one busy department, and they also look over the roads on a regular basis too. And we had one big road shutdown that affected a lot of people over this past weekend. Again, where was that and what happens next?
Well, they shut down 169 from 94 to 394. And the reason for that is to take down that 36th Avenue bridge. Somebody asked me, well, why don't they just close it right at the bridge? Well, because they can't have traffic on there. And they've got to get that traffic off there. Now 169 is open, but keep in mind that it's going to be closed occasionally again. So keep watching out for that. About the only way to get from one place to the other is either up Boone Avenue. But now 169 is open, but it will be closed on and off until they replace that. And the 63rd Avenue Bridge is being replaced also.
And some of those ramps too, as I understand it, at 169 and 36 will not be open as well, correct? So no hope to even get on at that point.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get on because you can't get off.
Very good. Got it. All right. Well, keep that in mind. A few other projects to update you on: Louisiana and 31st Avenue, some of the reconstruction there. How is that moving along?
Well, that's a total reconstruction in that cul-de-sac. So that means they have to put in a new sewer line, they have to put in new water mains. And of course, when they do that, they have to shut off the water. And when they're going to shut off the water, they let the residents know. So they've got some time to prepare for that. They'll shut it off, they do the repair, they turn it back on, they move along, they have to do another shut off. So on and off, those people are going to be very inconvenienced for a few weeks until they get this all done.
One other update over on Hillsborough Avenue. This is where some of the infrastructure work is happening. And again, this related to water, valves, all sorts of things combined into this project.
Yeah, this is the Burgundy Hillsborough Apartments. They're going to have to shut the water off there, but they will let the residents know that they're shutting the water off. That one won't be such a long time. It'll probably be off for a few hours and then back on. So it won't be forever, but just note it's going to be soon. There's no other way to do that but to shut the water off.
All right. Well, there's news about some projects that are ongoing or coming up, but here's one, a nice note to end on here, something that is about finished. Where is the finished road work?
Well, Xylon to Winnetka, that's been paved. So that's all done. However, the striping hasn't been done. And they're doing some spot curb repairs along the way and then some turf restoration. So even though the road's done, there'll still be workers there doing the restoration and fixing the curbs and things. So again, still a little bit of a delay, but it has been finished.
Very good.
The road itself.
All right, let's go to Park and Rec now. We've got a number of elements here, as you might imagine, a lot happening as the weather gets nice outside. It was nice last week, although the storms were hanging around for a music in the park, but the concert happened and everyone had a great time.
Well, I'd like to say we have a direct line to the weather, but we really don't. But it seems like we can get it to stop just a short amount of time. So last week was Music in the Park with the Minneapolis Commodores Barbershop a cappella chorus. And I understand you were there, Dave, to see it,
It
to
was
hear it.
fantastic. Yep, a good crowd. Even our little dog loved it as well. So the dogs loved the concerts in the park as well. And we'll have some more listed on the schedule here at the end of the program. How about the Young Mudder? We've talked about that for quite some time, that was coming up for the young kids, and it sounds like they had fun in the mud.
Well, the kids had fun in the mud. I'm not so sure the parents did, because after the mud playing, they get hosed off and then they get sent home wet, and unless they dry real quickly, which they usually don't, was a huge success as it always is.
Let's talk about some of the planning now going on. We're in that part of the season where we're looking at some more activities happening, but they need some coaches as well.
So they're trying to get youth baseball teams coordinated. They also need some coaches. So if you're interested in being a coach, you can call our Park and Rec department. And that number's on the screen, 531-5152. And she'll connect you with the person you want to talk to. If you want to be a coach or if you want your kid to sign up, this is the time to do it while they're getting these organized.
Very good. Let's talk about the Off-Broadway musical theater. It seems like it's a long ways away, always happens towards the end of July, but they're busy practicing right now, I would guess.
They are. Well, they're practicing at City Hall. The play is going to be Bye Bye Birdie. A lot of singing going on in City Hall. They'll go outside to practice at the entertainment center, but they can't go out there if it's raining, so they're practicing inside. So that's going to be July 17th to the 27th. It's Wednesday through Saturday, starts at 8 o'clock. It's $5. That's a free donation, and any canned food that you'd like to bring for the food shelf. And come early because it fills up quickly.
All right, here's a topic that you would not think would be happening right now, but we're going to mention it because it does happen and it shows you how much work this takes. It's the 2025 budget. Mayor, Park and Rec already busy on this?
Well, all the departments are already busy on this. They have a lot of things to do. They go through the list of absolutely have to have wants, needs, and then they have to put a price on all that. And then they look through it and say, yeah, that's a good idea, but we can't afford it this year. Or yes, that's a good idea. We have to do it this year. So this whole budget process starts in June, and it doesn't really get done till September, October, and then it gets finalized in November and December. So a lot of work goes into getting the budget right, knowing how much money we're going to need for and what money we're going to spend and what money we're not going to spend.
All right, that process starts. We'll keep you up to date on that. Let's talk about weeds and trees. A lot going on in those areas right now. What is the latest?
Well, the city forester's been really busy. So a lot of people didn't mow in May, even though the city doesn't subscribe to the no mow May. But we thought, well, we'll just let that be. Well, May's over. You better get that lawn mowed. For those people that haven't mowed, they either got warnings or citations that they have to mow, and you only have a few days to do that. And if you don't, then you will be fined. The other thing that's happening is the dead trees. So the forester has been out tagging those. The ones on the boulevard, he's stopping to see people who have dead trees in their yard and talking to them about what they can do and how they need to get that removed. And then there's he's not finding them, but he's just helping them. And the other part is he's going to residents who are having a free tree put in from the city because they had on their boulevard where they want that tree planted and what trees they want. So they've been really busy with that, trying to keep the weeds down. It's not easy.
Speaking of the trees, as the trees are planted over the years, they do need some care on a regular basis. And it sounds like part of Park and Rec is going out to check on those trees that are in there, add a little mulch and maybe straighten them up a little bit.
Well, if you've noticed that it's rained a lot and it's been windy. So when the soil gets soggy and the wind blows hard, the trees start to lean. So they're going out and they're staking those trees back up while the ground is still a little soft. They'll stake them back up. If you see one that's leaning and it's not staked, I suggest you call the forester and tell them where it is because maybe we've missed it.
Let's head over to the golf course. You see the beautiful picture behind the mayor here. A lot happening outside, obviously, with golf, but a lot happening inside as well.
Well, outside they had last week, they had a wedding outing. I think that means they played golf before the wedding, not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've rented the patio out a couple times for graduation parties. So the patio's really busy. The golf is always busy. On weekends, you need a tea time. During the week, you have to call because the leagues are still on and they have adult lessons going on. So the golf course is very busy this time of year.
And we've got a picture here as well, speaking of golf, of something shiny and new at the golf course, Mayor. What is it?
Well, we got new golf carts. We lease our golf carts. It just makes more sense to do that. So we lease them, and when they get worn and they are broke, we return them and we get new ones. So the new ones have been delivered. I think we have 18, not really sure. But on weekends, they're pretty much all out.
All right, get over there and give them a test drive. To the ice arena we go, and the list is unbelievable here of who's in that ice arena. And what we find, Mayor, it's not just local groups, but it's groups from throughout the metro area.
It is. It's summertime. People shouldn't be at the ice arena, but I guess this is the time to hone in your skills, do some camps. So not only is Armstrong and Cooper hockey teams practicing there, the Mites had a tournament there last weekend. Also, there's some kids from Brunel and some kids from Tortino Grace that they're practicing. There's lots of camps going on, and occasionally there's people and they're just skating. And the men's groups are in there playing and skating too.
That is amazing, all of the work going on there. To the aquatic park we go, and now it is officially open for the season and doing very well.
It it opened last Thursday very well. The weather the all weekend was just beautiful. So now they have the water walking, that part's open, and they also have that's adult water walking, and they have the adult lap swimming open, and the swim teams now are practicing in the mornings. So it's busy, and it will open at noon today.
Yep,
Just
exciting
keep in
place
mind
there.
that on the 22nd of June, the little ones can come early. I think 9:45 to 10:45. They need to check on that time to make sure, but it's the 22nd, and they have the little ones come in before the big kids come so they can play in the shallow part of the pool.
Great place to go as the summer warm weather gets here. Let's talk about the finance department, something we touch on sometimes, but not on a regular basis, but they are behind the scenes making sure everything on the financial side is perfect.
Well, I think accounting is magic, by the way. It's way beyond anything I want to think about. So they're doing electronic fund transfers. They check the bank deposits on a regular basis. They're doing the receivables, the invoices for that. The big part is they're doing payroll, and they're reconciling the April bank statement. These guys are just working magic behind the scenes, but they're working every day hard at it.
Hats off to that department. All right, let's close with just a couple final other notes of things happening in the city, maybe things you've seen in some publications or on the website. One you've seen on the website is Food Truck Friday. The City Hall is the place to be on Fridays for lunch.
It is. Yeah, we have anywhere from 3 to 5 food trucks there from 11 to 2. So you can go to the food truck, get your food, wander up to the pavilion where there's nice picnic tables to eat outside up there, and then use the trash cans to throw your trash away. It's just kind of a fun little outing every Friday, 2 to 4.
Want to mention too that the food trucks were at the concerts in the park. So I think sometimes when there's concerts, you might see a food truck out there as well. So you can get something to eat while you enjoy some music outside. One other note that's happening in a park that you might think, well, I'm just going to go there and see games. Well, there's more than just games at one of the parks in the city. You have to look up to the sky to see it. What is that, Mayor?
So we have one lighted field, and that's what it's called, lighted field. Well, we were going to replace the lights last year, but one of the lights at the top is an osprey nest, and there's an osprey sitting on the nest, so there must be eggs in there. So when they replaced the lights, they also put in a pole right next to it to put the lights on so they wouldn't disturb the osprey and the nest. So if you go look up, you can see it's a big, big nest.
Yeah,
it's a big bird.
Some video here of what happens there at that nest. It's pretty exciting. A couple other final notes. The citywide garage sale is coming up. Give us those dates and what should people be doing right now to get ready?
Well, first of all, go and clean out your basement and your garage, because you must have stuff for the garage sale. The garage sale is gonna be the 14th and 15th of June. That's what will be on the map. You can get the map online, or you can go to City Hall and get the map. I don't know if it's still time to put your name on the map, but it might be. So you have to call Park and Rec to find that out. I just want to tell people that even though it's just the 14th and 15th on the map, doesn't mean you can't open your garage sale before that or keep it open after that. That's just the 2 days that we asked you to keep the garage sale open if it's on the map. But the map really helps to find all the good garage sales. And you can buy the stuff you don't even know you need.
There you go. And the city's website, newhopemn.gov, the place to go to find out about that process, the map, all of those good things, and everything else we talked about happening in the city. Mayor, thanks once again for the time today and the update of what's happening in New Hope. Have a great week, and we'll to talk to you again next week.
Hope it doesn't rain all week. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.